Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. We've got another viewer-submitted replay here. Empire are going to be taking on the foul Dark Elves, so let's get straight to it. Karl Franz up in the air leading the way. Got a front line of swordsmen, second line of spearmen, a couple of crossbows, or maybe just one crossbow, great cannon, two demigryph knights with halberds, a jade wizard up in the air, as well as a Templehof Luminarch. Very good stuff. For the Dark Elves here, got a front line of Dread Spears, Black-Heart Corsairs, and Bleak Swords. Second line of Witch Elves, including the Sisters of Singing Doom, Malekith on a Chariot, and several groups of Cold One Knights. So, yeah, looks like we've also got some Dark Riders with shields in the back as well. And right off the bat, the artillery going to be opening up shots. The Templehof Luminarch looks like it's pulling over to the side, but unfortunately for the Empire Great Cannon, these Dark Riders come in unopposed and just manage to get a great charge in here and shut it down right off the bat. So that's a little bit of a rough start for the Empire, but State Troops going to run in here and get promptly massacred by these Dark Elves. These swordsmen will not hold up long, especially against Witch Elves. And you can see some of them already filtering through into the second line, going after some of those crossbowmen in the back. Empire Knights, or sorry, Demigryph Knights being used to fend off the Dark Riders, but Karl drops in over here. I missed it. One Luminarch shot did make pretty good contact with Malekith, but the Cold One Knights are going to come in to support him. He's also dropping a Soul Stealer to try and heal himself back up. Looks like Word of Pain also there. That Templehof shot was blocked by some of those Cold One Knights, which it did kill, but wasn't a whole lot at the end of the day. Meanwhile, over here, Dark Riders with shields going after some spearmen. They're trying to rear charge them. Demigryph Knights are going to move out to deal with these Cold One Knights and these Dark Riders over on this flank. Meanwhile, Empire Infantry Force is just getting absolutely crushed. These Empire State Troops are getting cut to ribbons here by the Corsairs, the Witch Elves, the Bleak Swords, and so on. Templehof just got another really good shot on Malekith, though. These Demigryph Knights with halberds came down to support Karl Franz here. We're able to do some really good damage, but Karl has taken a bunch of damage as well. Word of Pain on him. He's been healed as well. Looks like an upgraded regrowth. The Scorch comes down. Doesn't do a whole lot to Malekith, but suddenly the Demigryph Knights were able to rout off the Cold One Knights. They themselves got terrified by the Sisters of Singing Doom, which are supporting there. Malekith's able to pull away, but Karl Franz is going to have to get away before he gets enraged again. Unfortunately for the Templehof, the Slaanesh Harvesters, Regiment of Renowned Doomfire Warlock, have caught up and are doing a bunch of damage, and this side is completely crumbled away. All the crossbowmen, the state troops, everything is just gone in almost an instant. That being said, these Demigryph Knights over on this side, with the support of some state troop spearmen with shields, they're able to grind through and finish off these Cold One Knights here. So this flank going okay for the Empire. The center just got crushed, but the opposite flank is going okay as well. Karl comes down, tries to bail out the Templehof Luminarch, which is now going to be a little bit more free. Malekith is quite low, so if the humans here, if the Empire, if they can finish off Malekith, it will do a bunch of leadership damage. Here comes Karl for one final charge. The Slaanesh Harvesters get caught by a net just before they're able to catch the Templehof Luminarch, and then here come the regrouped Demis coming around for another charge here. They're going to get in here and respond to these Slaanesh Harvesters, start to do a bit of damage to them. It is going to be a bit tough because they're way outnumbered and they're being poisoned and so on, but Malekith goes down right there to Karl. He just gets a fat attack and takes him down. So with that, the balance power is going to tip. Despite how badly the Empire lost that infantry engagement, you can see the Demigryph Knights over here helping to support against some Bleak Swords. These State Troop Spearmen should be able to hold out into the late game and will be quite useful as a supporting unit. But yeah, those Cold One Knights, the Witch Elves, the Sisters of Singing Doom, all taking a ton of damage here. They had a couple of units being terrified away there. Obviously, the Sisters of Singing Doom, being that they cause terror themselves, they are going to be obviously immune to terror. But yeah, a lot of the Empire troops not doing well. Those Demigryph Knights, as soon as the Sisters of Singing Doom get too close, they're going to want to rout. But shot there goes through the Black-Heart Corsairs. Since there's no more characters to shoot at, the Templehof Luminarch are going to start to dedicate shots to infantry and cavalry and various things like that. That being said, it does want us to try and stay away from these Slaanesh Harvesters if at all possible, and also the Sisters of Singing Doom, obviously. Karl, a little bit caught out here by Cold One Knights and other units here. Not the best situation for him, but he's doing okay. He's getting pretty close to his healing cap, though. He's actually at his healing cap, so he can't be healed anymore. The healer, I'm not really sure where he got off to. He's still ping-ponging around here somewhere. It looks like he's supporting the Templehof Luminarch. Going to be putting another regrowth into it to try and keep it nice and healthy and online. These Slaanesh Harvesters will do okay fighting the Jade Wizard here. He's not going to want to stay in combat for too long. But, yeah, Karl, on the other hand, is going to come over here, having extricated himself from those Cold One Knights. He can get a good attack in here and take down a few of those Slunicious Harvesters, start to spring the Templehof Luminarch loose. Unfortunately, over here, the Demigryph Knights that had won that other flank did get enraged by some Witch Elves. They're now being dragged down by Dread Spears. Really a bad situation for them overall. But they've already done quite a bit of work, so, you know, a bit of give and take there. The Spearmen that they were supporting as well, or that were supporting them rather, are also going to be taken down, but we'll see. It's going to be pretty tight into this late game. The Slunicious Harvesters continuing to try and go after that Templehof Luminarch, but Karl continuing to do his duty to protect. It's a very expensive, high-value unit. Takes down quite a few of the Slunicious Harvesters with that swing, terrifies them away. That should be enough to keep them from coming back. He is going to go back up into the air and chase them away. Demigryph Knights have been rounded off here, so at this point it's just the Luminarch and the heroes. And despite all that, the balance of power is still slightly in the Empire's favor, so we're going to fast forward just a little bit as there's sort of some repositioning here before the Templehof starts to unleash its final few shots here. You can see Karl in the distance there chasing away the foul Doomfire Warlocks. That shot comes in, does some good damage right on the Witch Elves. He's targeting the Sisters of Singing Doom, which is obviously the most high-value unit left on the field for the Dark Elves. They also cause terror, so definitely want to try and get them away if you can. Looks like some Demigryph Knights have rallied here. They're coming back. They've got a little bit of healing. Very nice play by the Dark Elves to sort of draw them into the Dread Spears, but they're immediately just going to pull away there rather than taking that engagement. The Jade Wizard, on the other hand, a little bit wrapped up in there. He's going to have a hard time getting back up in the air. Hopefully he'll be able to. We'll see. But nonetheless, Templehof Luminarch continuing to dump in its remaining fire. It's got, what, 3 more shots left to go after some of these high-value targets here, so we'll see. It's not the best at shooting at infantry, but it certainly can get some work done. You can see these Demigryph Knights, 5 units left, about 1,000 HP. They're going to come through and try and maybe force a blob here for the Templehof to fire into. That would certainly be very effective. Let's see. That shot makes, again, once pretty solid contact. Yeah, once again, just very, very good stuff. It's very key in the late game to try and capitalize on those shots, because despite what the balance of power says, it's really not that, like, if all these Dark Elves were to fight in one big group, even Karl would have a hard time, you know, fighting through all those bodies, especially the Witch Elves with their decent combat stats. But there's another great hit from the Templehof Luminarch, just destroying those Sisters of Singing Doom. They're getting very, very low on HP and leadership at the moment. Demigryph Knights continuing to kind of pull these guys in different directions as Karl comes through to try and snipe out some of these isolated units, like this unit of Witch Elves here. It's all on their lonesome for the most part. Karl's going to drop down there. Another Templehof shot. Not quite as effective, but still cuts through quite a few bodies there. Karl comes down, immediately terrifies away the standard Witch Elves. Unfortunately, the Demigryph Knights did get caught up by the Dark Riders here and terrified away by the Sisters of Singing Doom. Likewise, the Jade Wizard here is going to get enraged in just a moment by those Witch Elves as well, so that's a little bit rough. But Karl, that affords him the opportunity to go after these isolated units and try and defeat them, you know, individually rather than all as a big group. Not to mention, some of these Dark Elf units, just their leadership is so shaky at this point that they're really not going to want to stand and fight for much longer. You can see the Templehof Luminarch going into Chariot mode. You know things are desperate when the Luminarch's going into Chariot mode, running over some Witch Elves. And here in the front, Karl comes in, drops that massive Blood Roar, some huge splash attacks, and that's enough to finish off the Dark Elf leadership. So a very, very fun victory for the Empire. Always nice to see the Templehof Luminarch in action, especially when it does such heavy lifting. I mean, that Empire infantry force just got crushed. It was all up to the Demis, Karl, and the Templehof, and they pulled through in a big, big way. 140 kills on the Templehof, able to do a ton of damage to Malekith, a ton of damage to the high-value Witch Elves and other units, so very good stuff there. Both the units of Demis as well picked up an XP shot for around 40 kills and 91, able to deal with the mobility of the Dark Elves, enough so that Karl could, you know, hit and run in the late game and to take advantage of his massive charge bonus, AP and everything. Karl, of course, helping to hunt down Malekith, the foul Witch King, delivering a mighty hammer of justice straight to his face, And what more could you really ask for, honestly, in a battle replay? On the Dark Elf side, obviously, the Witch Elves cut through the Empire State troops no problem with the help of the Corsairs. 102 kills on Dark Riders with shields, not bad at all. That was a very nice little cheeky Vanguard at the beginning to get in on the cannon, shut that down, shut down the the crossbowmen, the other ranged units, everything except the Temple Hoff, which ended up being kind of the bane of the existence of the Dark Elves at the end of the day. But it just kind of goes to show loss of leadership is a big deal for any faction, and even for the Dark Elves with their relatively high leadership, losing a powerful character like Malekith puts a huge dent in the balance of power, and it leads to your units wanting to rout very easily. So hopefully you guys enjoyed watching that one. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.